Hey guys, it's Sharon from Digital Nomad Quest. Today I'm excited to have Joe from PrepAgent. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Joe and I met because I actually purchased your prep materials for the real estate agent exam and then kind of interviewed me as a testimonial on your YouTube channel, right? It's been great knowing you too because I learned that you were a digital nomad before and then we started relating because you also were from the Bay Area, right?
Well, I guess by definition of digital nomad, I work from anywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say is a digital nomad. So it's pretty cool, cool seeing how you've built up PrepAgent and it was super helpful for me. So thank you for creating PrepAgent. Maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself. I know I just sort of did an intro, but maybe you can go in depth about your journey and what PrepAgent is and everything like that.
So simply said, PrepAgent is more or less videos and practice exams and different study aids to help people pass the real estate exam. The big thing we did was try and make it more personable, which is why you see me talking all the time. It's why I got my hat, which I like. And I try and be more relatable. So it's not just a website that looks like some ambiguous thing where people purchase study aids and they don't really see anybody behind it. So we really tried to give that feeling of an actual person explaining things rather than just an ambiguous site. And it kind of blew up a little bigger than I expected. Our YouTube channel is now going to be at 100,000 subscribers soon,
Wow.
right? Which is not something we expected from doing real estate exam prep.
Yeah.
Usually do that with famous people or music or things like that. It really kind of emphasizes people underestimate the value of a niche. And I guess people also underestimated, even myself, the value of being relatable. Because we see all this time these beautiful people on Instagram or these famous people on YouTube. And sometimes there's something to be said for just being really clean, professional, and relatable, especially when you're dealing with something that scares people, like a real estate exam.
Yeah, for sure. That's already great advice right off the bat. What was the timeline? So, when did you start PrepAgent and when did it start picking up and stuff like that?
Funny you mentioned that because I was just talking to my partner last night about when everything started.
Yeah.
So my first idea to do any form of real estate exam prep at all was in 2004.
Wow. Okay.
So that was a while ago. But PrepAgent, as you see it now, actually really started in 2015, maybe 2016. So for years, it was me just struggling with a lot of trial and error, with bad advice, people helping me who say they could do things they couldn't. And basically, anybody who's ever tried to hire people to do stuff from building a house to building a website to anything experienced this is 10 times over. So it was years and years of just a lot of trial and error and getting going until finally it hit. And what really hit was the YouTube channel.
So you're saying 2004, you had the idea or you already started kind of taking action on it and hiring someone to build out the site, or how did that work?
In 2004, I hired somebody to build a website and I paid $500 and that was probably too much for what they did.
Oh, really? What happened? What did they make?
They did some basic, probably template website that right now you can probably build from a basic Squarespace thing.
Okay.
And it was terrible. I have endless stories of hiring people that did not come through or overpromised or underdelivered or things of that nature.
Did you build your YouTube channel in 2015 or was that a work in progress up till then?
So the YouTube channel started before that, but the YouTube channel really took off in August of 2015. I actually know the date. And for those guys who work on YouTube channels, who try and have a business where you're working from home, you'll find that the progress isn't always this kind of gradual thing, Sometimes you just work on it, and then something just hits and, people smarter than me could kind of figure out why. But for most of us, it's just I don't know why, but that's working, And for me, that moment happened in August 2015, and that was a webinar.
Okay.
And the irony was I did a lot of short videos because in my head, short videos what people wanted to see. But you got to think to yourself, what works for you doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else wants to see that. You may be unique. And in my head, real estate exam content's super boring, as you know, because you studied. So if I can make short, cute videos explaining concepts, kind of real estate for dummies, that type of thing, but maybe in a more video animated, simplified way, it'd be successful. But what people really what shocked me is one day I just did a webinar with 4 ladies, just talking to them, and I put that up, and that went, boo, underestimated the value of people wanting to hear a conversation, kind of like what we're doing now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
People just listen to the whole thing. And I actually also learned about YouTube. I guess I learned the lesson that YouTube actually rewards you a lot more if you have longer videos, which is something I didn't understand before. Yeah, but if you can maintain people's attention, then YouTube loves you.
I love it. I love how you're dropping tips already. That's awesome. But yeah, like before you had that idea and then like hired someone, right? What were you doing? So like, were you an agent and like you were just like, oh, I see the challenges with this. I want to create this site. Like, how did that go about?
Well, before this, I was a real estate broker in Los Angeles. So I actually did real estate. So I understood what a lot of people are going through. But more importantly, I understood what it was like to be scared of the exam. You see a lot of people who do very well in school, who are just very on it, could, look at books and sinks in, and they sit there and say, oh, the exam's so easy. And I look at them like, it's easy for them. That was not me. So even when I was practicing real estate, I saw how many people were scared. Most people get into real estate, it's their second or third career. And there's a feeling of fear. Like somebody who goes to law school, graduates from law school, goes in their job, and they're ready to take on the world. People get into real estate may be ready to take on the world, but usually they've been burned before. Usually it's like they're coming across like, I got to get this done. Usually they're coming from a place of fear and desperation. And many people do very well, but I understand where people's starting point is, and it starts with that exam. And I was one of those people, I lost a job. I was trying to figure out what to do. And a lot of people say, you know what, working for somebody didn't work for me. I need to be on my own. I don't know anything about starting a business. I don't know, how to open up a restaurant or how to open a store in a mall. I don't have any other real skills. I just know there's this real estate thing where if I get my license, if I could sell a home, I'll get a commission and I'll go from there. Maybe if I work really hard, I could do really well. So a lot of people are coming to that vantage point. So I know I had to kind of relate to people who are scared. People who are starting a new career.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And it's, the prep materials have been great for me, or were great for me, right? It's like super easy to consume. So it's great that you created that. So after, 2004, you said like you hired someone that didn't do a good job. Did you hire like another person? And like, where did you find that?
So I found these people through friends and whatnot. I mean, I probably tried 20 ideas. This idea that I had this one idea and I knew and it would stick and lasted forever. Like, I always knew it was a good idea. I just didn't really know how to really make it work. I mean, haven't you ever had an idea where you know it's good, but something's missing? Like something's missing. It's just, why isn't this working? Something's not going right. So I tried a lot of different ideas. And the fact is, and this may help people to know, is I have no background in programming. I know one of the questions you wanted to ask me was about programming. I had no background in programming. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know the difference between HTML, Java, or any of that. I still don't know what it means, I mean, I'd be sitting there calling the GoDaddy rep, hoping they don't screw me and hoping to get through it just like anybody else. Trying to find websites where I could build it myself. I was missing a basic understanding of a lot of stuff. And, so I tried many different ideas before this one worked.
When you say like different ideas, you mean completely different business ideas, or you're saying like with the site you did different things or like had different stuff on it?
A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
Okay.
So I tried different businesses with some in the youth sports realm, other things within real estate, tried an open house site. I tried a broker search site. I tried different things with the current one because also I was limited by my ability, and so this really PrepAgent took off with that YouTube channel, but then it took off even more where I reconnected at a very serendipitous time. Hopefully I'm using that word correctly, with an old friend who, connected with me, and we just kind of reconnected at a perfect time in our lives. And he was more technically savvy with all this stuff than I am. A lot of people in the webinars hear me mention a guy named Arthur in the webinars, if you ever listened to it. And he became the yin to my yang, and the thing really kind of took off.
Oh, cool. So you said the YouTube channel took off. Was the site already built with the quizzes and all that stuff yet, or was that like later on?
It was. I was on a WordPress site before. And, I hired a guy who was a very nice guy who helped me build a WordPress site. Then the YouTube channel took off, did really well. Then when he came into picture, he kind of knew how to make everything that was going and make it really work well, like really take it to the next level. I kind of use the analogy with us that I built up a Pinto and he took the Pinto and turned it into a Ferrari.
Nice. Okay, cool. And then like in terms of the marketing you did for the business, would you just say like YouTube was the main thing? Like you just started giving out that free content and then people just started, coming in and like wanting to learn more?
Yeah, I think that was a big thing. We gave away a lot of free content to people to get a lot of viewers and a lot of people getting to the site. I think that was huge. I mean, people underestimate free content. At the end of the day, you got to get people to your website.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you give away like a lot of material already. And then then people end up just wanting to buy it because they want the quizzes and then the step-by-step and all this stuff. So I definitely feel like giving that educational value just brings people in, and then you can, if they
I'll
want
take
to.
one step further for you.
Yeah.
We have people emailing us offering us to give us money.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because they're just like, you know what? I just wanted to watch YouTube videos. I just thought this was really helpful. You give so much for free. Where could I donate? And I'm like, write a nice review.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the free content, it really builds a nice rapport with people, and it helps build your reviews too. Because there's that many more people who are now using it, whether they paid for it or not. They're using your stuff. They're listening to you, and that builds up a lot of reviews. And as you know, not a lot of people are going to write a bad review when they haven't given you money.
Yeah.
So if they're using your stuff for free, and those reviews are powerful. Right now on Facebook, I think we have almost 800 5-star reviews.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I said, the reviews don't end there. They kind of go on LinkedIn. They go on all the comments. If you look at the comments of the YouTube videos, or the comment on Instagram, you see a lot of positivity.
The free content must just give like tons of 5 stars, right? That's amazing.
Also, I think our website's pretty good too. It said you used it. So it wasn't just getting 5 stars because of the free content. I think when people do buy it, they're pretty happy with it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I felt the same way. I was like, oh, this is great. Like it gives you much more past the free content too. So that's awesome. And I feel like that's kind of like a marketing strat too that you use really well, where you like get in touch with your students that have succeeded and try to see what their experience was and then share that with the world. Are there other like marketing tactics you guys used, or was it mainly those two?
Well, from my standpoint, like I said, my partner does the more technical stuff. So on another day, you could talk to him if you want about the more technical side. But for me, on my side, it was all about making it relatable. And a big part of it was what you're talking about, which was interviewing people who just passed and getting their opinions, because you don't always need like some big celebrity endorsement. Like if you notice, I also did an interview with Ryan Serhant, the guy from $1 Million Listing.
Oh, I didn't see it, but that's cool.
Yeah. He's on there, and it's like it didn't feel as natural. Like he was great and did a lot of good things, but really the power of my marketing is with people who just took the exam. Because at the end of the day, people are not looking for celebrity stuff. They're not doing it to like be entertained. With my stuff. I don't know about other stuff. It's not an entertainment thing, which by the way, I recommend. If you could give a product that's something people need, you'll have a lot easier time than trying to entertain people. Entertaining people, that's very difficult. Writing a 45 documentary or a show or music, that's a lot harder. If you could kind of help people get their goals in some very simple way, that's way easier. For example, it was way easier for me to interview you after you passed your exam rather than try and get like, some big like Justin Bieber to be on my thing.
For sure.
Not saying you're not like super famous. You are. You'll be wonderful.
Oh gosh. No, yeah, that's smart. That's awesome. So were there any like huge challenges you guys face with this whole journey that you can recall?
Honestly, not really. I mean, knock on wood, it's been going pretty well. The challenges was just getting it started.
Okay. You mean like just building up the site and the YouTube and all that?
Yeah, because we're talking a lot of digital nomads here. So we're talking a lot of people who have online businesses, I assume, right?
Yeah. And like just about passive income as well. So I talk a lot about both of those things. And I feel like those help you create that financial freedom and location independent lifestyle,
And the thing is, if you do those, what you learn is a snowball effect. The hardest part is getting it going. My partner very often says, it's a lot harder to go from $0 to $10 than it is from $10 to $1,000.
That makes sense, actually. I can totally see that. Yeah, because with my businesses, it definitely exponentially increases as you've already kind of set up your foundation.
So the hardest part is kind of getting that going and knowing what to do and figuring out what to do. But once you get it going, it's just like, and you kind of see it move, and then you just want to double it over and do it again and again. And sometimes you learn the hard way. It's not that easy to double it over. Like, I don't know if I could do this site exactly again. If you said do it for, I don't know, like taxidermies or accountants, like, I don't know if I could. It's not that simple. You kind of learn getting something started is difficult, but once you get it going, it's a great thing.
And I mean, I feel like you're more passionate about this for sure. So it's obviously going to be harder to try to build it up for something else, right?
Well, it's just you put so much effort into it. Haven't you ever played Jenga?
Yeah.
And you build it up and you build it up and you build it up and you're so excited and you're so into it. You're like so like focused on it, but if the whole thing falls down, you're like, I don't want to play again. I'm over it.
That's true.
Yeah. It's like, because you don't feel like starting over again. Once it gets going, you're like, ooh, you're excited. You're into it. Nobody touch it. Nobody touch the tower. Everybody leave the tower alone. Nobody go near it. Don't breathe on it. Don't sneeze on it. But if it falls, but you say logically, you'd say, well, if you like it so much, why not do it again? but you don't. Like if it falls over, you're like, I'm so done with this. Get this stuff out of here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like more passion because it's getting going. But am I passionate enough where I'd start this from scratch?
No, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, talking about real estate exam content isn't exactly like the most fun thing.
That's true, actually, yeah. I mean, speaking of which, so has your business become more passive where you're kind of making that passive income, or do you still have to kind of spend a lot of hours with it? And like, how often do you do, the videos and the webinars and all that stuff?
Do the webinars 5 days a week.
Okay.
So basically it's mostly doing videos and webinars for me at this point, kind of keeping it going and just kind of make it go more and more and more. But yes, it's passive income in that there's no one act I would do that day that would justify the money we get in that one day. And if I stopped doing that act, that money would not stop. In other words, the income I get in that day is not related to an activity I did that day.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's like you're kind of maintaining the income source, not really
We're
like
trying to build on that snowball.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you see yourself doing that for like a while, these videos, or are you going to kind of retire ever?
It's not a bad life. I mean, this is what you're promoting, right? I'm living what you're trying to do, right?
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering like, because, some people just want to chill like as a nomad and maybe not even have to work again. Is that, because, you said you don't need to be pumping out this content anymore. You're like good, basically. Is that something?
If we stop doing what we're doing today, then we would still make money. It'd be fine. We'd like to make more and do more and help more people and become better at what we do, and just further expand what we're doing and improve what we're doing. But you're right. If we just stop today, we'd be okay. But, if you see my videos on my channel from when I started 4 years ago with the videos, like really doing this, you'll see a drastic difference from the video I did this week, the one I did 4 years ago, with the sound quality of which you helped me with. I got the mic after, which you're not even using the mic, you're using the headphones.
Oh, no, I am using it. You just can't see it right here.
Oh, okay. So you got the headphones.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm glad you got like a new mic and it works well.
I did the video with you and I was like, she sounds really good. Mine sounds terrible. Like when I was talking to you, I was next to you. I was like, man. But it's true. The more you do it, you learn little things. Like you start to see little things. You start to kind of pick up. And that's true for anything you do, right? Especially when you're doing this kind of thing. You got to put yourself out there and talk to different people and just pick up little things here and there. Because everybody's scared because they don't know anything. But you just got to push your idea through.
No, that's, definitely.
Is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah, no, of course. I definitely learn a lot from just speaking with people like you. So it's great having you here.
Thank you.
So, you said you do like videos 5 days a week and stuff like that. How many hours would you say you like work per week then?
Oh, that's like a trade secret.
Oh, really?
We want. It depends.
Yeah.
Depends. But it's on our own accord.
I mean, I'm sure it's like pretty minimal, like how much time you put in.
It's not minimal, but that's by choice. Like if I checked out and went away for a week, nothing would stop, which I think is what you're getting at, Like if I want, because it's truly passive is what you're talking about. But I mean, what am I going to do? Sit there and just stare at my dog? I mean, it's like, whatever I do, it's because we want to do it. We want to improve on stuff. But I know we're talking about passive income, but I mean, I could sit here and do nothing and go play Jenga or whatever.
No, I mean, that's cool because I think I told you before how like when I was digital nomading, I was just like not fulfilled by just chilling with my passive income. I came back because I was like, let me work towards some type of purpose and like build my skills and then kind of inspire people with like how to build passive income and become financially free and stuff like that. And what I learned about it is it's not really the ultimate goal. Like it's just like a means to an end to like let you live the life that best suits you or like, your best life. And I guess that's kind of why I asked, because like it's cool that you're still doing it because it's something like it's fun for you and it's like you get to connect with your students, help them with their journeys. So it sounds like you found the thing that like you enjoy your life, you love like giving back like that. That's awesome because like being a digital nomad who can build passive income, you can still like work towards something and not have to be like, oh, I'm just going to chill on a beach forever and like not do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also if you really want to be successful with it, I mean, at some point you make a choice. Like I got my passive income, right? Most people will say 3-hour work week. I get it. I could sit around and do nothing. But most people will think I probably want to start another business, see if I can make more money. But what you learn pretty quickly is, and going back to the analogy of it's easier to go from $10 to $1,000 than it is from 0 to 1, you actually realize it would make more sense to take that thing that's making passive income, that's making you, let's call it $1,000, just hypothetically, and make $10,000 to $100,000 than it would be to start a whole nother thing and go from 0 to 1.
I agree with that.
So a lot of people would say, all right, I could start something new. Well, I got this thing that's already working. maybe I could ramp it up some more. I find a lot of people do in their free time. Once it's going, it's like, all right, what else can it do? I just built this monster. Let's see what else it can.
No, I mean, I think that's like great advice of like focusing on one thing and building that more exponentially. Because I mean, I've had like issues where I tend to jump because I'm like, oh, this kind of works, so let me try something new. But like now I'm really trying to build up one thing, and it's like way more fulfilling and fun. That's cool. And I also, to your point, that like a lot of people end up doing other things or starting new businesses. I'm seeing like, people in Chiang Mai who are like, just like, I just want to chill with my life. Like, I don't want to do anything anymore. And I think it's cool that, you are focused on one thing and, working on that and like creating impact, you know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Yeah. As we try other things, but it just doesn't have the same, momentum that this does.
No, I agree.
And I said, I do other things and I try and do other business things, but at some point you got to know where your bread is buttered.
For sure. So how did you, end up becoming a digital nomad and kind of traveling all over the world? Like, when did that happen?
It wasn't by choice. I mean, it kind of was and it wasn't. Like I knew, do you know the story of the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No, I don't.
Okay, the gist of it is Anthony Kiedis, lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're a musician. You know who they are.
I know who they are, but I don't know the journey.
He lived a rough life, was very poor, and I never forgot this. He was singing at a local bar and he was talking about other guys who came to Hollywood to try and make it as a singer. And for him, he wasn't trying to make it as a singer. That's all he could do. That's how he ate. It wasn't at like he would get food when he worked at the bar or whatever it was. In other words, his success was born out of necessity, not desire. It wasn't one of these guys who dropped everything and then moved to Hollywood with a guitar to try and make it big. Like for him, he was just like, well, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a writer. I'm not very, I don't have a degree. I don't have any skills. This is all I could do. I need to eat tonight. Got a gig, got food, and went from there. So for a lot of digital nomads, including myself, sometimes we're here not because we saw this great flexible lifestyle. We do what we want, because the normal corporate world didn't accept us. It wasn't an option. I got fired from many jobs. Many things didn't work out. I wasn't really a salesperson. There comes an attitude where if you're driven and you're focused and have some drive, you say, you know what, screw them. I don't fit there, but I'm still going to find my way. There's got to be a place for me in this world. And with all this new technology and internet and all the rest that we enjoy out here and social media, there's a lot more opportunities for that. So did I want to be on my own? Sure. But a lot of it was because my friend who went to be a lawyer, who was the top of his class from his school, graduated #1 from his university, #1 from his grad school, worked for whatever law firm, yada, yada. That wasn't an option for me. Now, ironically, he's miserable. He makes a lot of money, works for the top law firm, works from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, and he can't quit his job because the amount of money he makes, he can't replace with something else, and his family's dependent on that income. Which is the common corporate trap, which is, I think, something you're trying to help people get away from.
Yeah. I mean, I think if it's not your passion of like staying in the job that whatever, like maybe you enjoy it, then like go for it, stay in that job. But like if you hate it, there are other options, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to open up people's minds up to, that like you can start your own businesses, you can do a bunch of things. Like the online world has like kind of opened up so many opportunities for people.
Right. And I said, I keep thinking of my friend who's on that track. He followed everything to the T that I learned in school, and you probably did too. Do well, you go to college, and you do well in college, you get to go into grad school, and you go well in grad school, you get to work at the best firm, and you get to work at the best firm, you get a lot of money. Like he did everything, and it just seems horrible. So if I could choose this life, I would. I didn't necessarily, I kind of did choose it, but it was also because I got rejected from that. And thank God I did get rejected from that life.
Interesting. So, I mean, but I thought you were a broker, so you kind of chose your own hours and stuff like that. Was that not the case?
Right. But still, I was still doing my own thing,
Okay.
My own schedule. And even that got a little to be a headache. I mean, there's a point where my phone rang, I got stressed.
I see. Yeah. Was that the motivation of like starting this business of like, I want to really decide my own hours and, not have people just calling me all the time and stuff like that?
Well, no, because I mentioned that person who got into real estate because they wanted to be their own boss. And I started the same way. I didn't know much about real estate. I was just like, but I know lots of people make money with it. If I try real hard, I'll figure it out. Something's got to be in this niche for me. I actually did a lot of conferences when the internet first got big in 1997. So I was kind of exposed to a lot of that. So I had this belief that maybe if I could figure out how to do some online marketing, I could get clients and help my real estate agent get clients and different things of that nature. So I was always just kind of thinking of what I could do, how I could do it. and always just trying. And that's what I meant. I just pushed and pushed and pushed and tried and opened up every door that was available to me.
Yeah. So you decided to become digital nomad. Were you kind of using geographic arbitrage where like the expenses are kind of lower so you can start building up your business type of thing?
Fancy word. Geographic arbitrage.
Right?
So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by geographic arbitrage?
Yeah, especially the Bay Area, like it's super expensive, right? So like for me, I left also because I thought it can be financially responsible in a way to build up your businesses while you're traveling. Besides like being able to live life and stuff, you're spending a lot less than you would like in San Francisco, right? So I was spending
Bay Area.
Yeah, right. I spent like $1,400 a month after everything, like entertainment, travel, like accommodations, everything for like 9 months. I just spent that much, and like SF rent is already past that, you know? I thought it was a financially responsible thing. So that's kind of what I'm asking of like, so geographic arbitrage is basically kind of using that difference of expenses in different parts of the world. And then like,
for sure. Yes,
yeah.
I definitely do that. Yeah, I may have not used that word before, but I certainly do it. And I certainly, live that quite a bit. I mean, I lived in the Bay Area too for a while, and I got out of there pretty quick myself.
Yeah. Okay. So that was like what you mean by, oh, I was forced into it. Is that kind of what it is?
Forced into,
you're saying like, I didn't choose this. Like I sort of did, but like a lot of it was that, that corporate world rejected me. I had to make things work. So
yeah, so I had to figure out my own way to make money, but I also kind of enjoyed the creativity of trying to create an online business. There's a lot that drew me to it, and real estate just happened to give me an avenue to pursue it that worked out really well. I mean, so I'm still pretty familiar with real estate. I did run a brokerage when it was all said and done, but here I am now with you. So it's kind of like I merged different worlds. And the biggest thing I learned, which I think a lot of people could take, is people get intimidated because when they're starting an online business, very often they're talking to other people who started an online business and were probably successful, or techies who were successful. And they don't realize that's not your audience. You know more than your audience does. Your audience is people who are just kind of going onto Facebook, Instagram, basic stuff. So to come off as an expert isn't as hard as you think.
No, I agree with that.
It's just people kind of forget that because they seek experts and they're comparing themselves to other people who are pretty advanced. And that's not most of the world.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people get scared to position themselves as the expert when like you really just need to know a little bit more than the average person and can provide some knowledge, right?
Right. So it's a little easier than people may think to get it going. I mean, having an online business is really just about pushing and being consistent, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think consistency as well as like being intentional with like how you're being consistent. So I find like, for example, my YouTube channel, right? I would be pretty consistent, but then I could tell I wasn't putting in that much effort of like, I was putting in effort, but it was like random kind of videos that I was making instead of being intentional of like, this person who would be interested in my videos would want to see a series on this topic. I didn't script a lot of it out. Like I was just like, you know what, this relates to me right now, so I'm gonna talk about this, and then this relates to me right now, I'm gonna talk about this. So I think consistency with that intentional thinking really just, it's like a magic point, you know what I mean?
Right. And it's not rocket science. For example, people look at these Instagram models, for example, like these fitness models. We see them all the time. People talk to them about these fitness models and how they have all these followers. And I say to them, not all of them are just these good looking people who just put up photos. Granted, they're all good looking people with photos, but then I ask them, then how come you see some super good looking people only have 2,000 followers and some have 200,000? They're all good looking. They're all super fit. So what's the difference? That one who has 200,000 had a little more mind to just be super consistent, with their mission and their drive. Like I'm going to do these type of pictures, whatever they may be, whether it's me doing push-ups or whatever stuff, the rest of the world's going to be like, oh, stupid, another Instagram model, fitness person, duh, how dumb, But as somebody who's done what I do, I look at it and I say, that person has something behind them more than just being a good looking person doing exercise, because there's lots of those, and a lot of them only have 1,000 subscribers or 2,000. So when somebody has 500,000, there's more going on than just them being like a good looking person doing push-ups.
Yeah, no, very true.
And I guess my point is, what I notice with them is there's a lot of consistency with what they do. Now, I don't care how shallow you are, they still have to make sure they do their work and kind of take the picture and put it in a certain way and kind of have it every single day. And my point is, it's not rocket science. It's not that complicated. It's just a matter of being consistent with what you're doing. And I just love that example. These people, in our era love to trash those people, when they talk about shallowness and superficiality, and all that's accurate. Don't get me wrong. But I think they're missing something. So I believe you could learn something from everybody. And I say to them, I was like, okay, if they're all superficial superficial and trashy. How come this one has 500,000 subscribers and this one has 2,000? There's
Sure.
more to learn than this, than you just looking at some dude with chiseled abs doing pull-ups in Venice Beach, you know?
Yeah, that's a great example. I mean, it's a good mindset where you're like, oh, I can learn from everyone.
Well, I just look at it because obviously for all the wrong reasons, it's a super competitive thing. So how come this one's doing this well and this one's doing that one? No, I mean, you did music. You know how it is. There's a lot of people who do music. How come some of them get so many followers and some of them don't? Is it because their music's that much better, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was like pushing out, I did this thing called ST Sundays. And then like, it was like every Sunday I would have a cover ready. And that just like took off really well when I was like really into doing those covers and like being on YouTube for music and stuff like that. So totally agree. And I think it's cool that you started in 2004 and now it's like 2020 and you're still pumping out stuff and you're still helping people. And it's definitely a long-term game. A lot of people like underestimate that and think it's like, oh, I don't see traction, I'm just going to give up. But like, it's like you know what I mean?
It is awkward. I mean, let's be honest, it's super awkward. I mean, we talk about being superficial and shallow, and I was referencing the fitness models. The majority of people, and I believe even them, are not really totally comfortable with it. Like that person who's super shallow and into their body and their look, they may be able to take like a few pictures, you know, and be all into themselves. But to crank it out in the consistency we're talking about, you know, at some point it becomes effort, it becomes awkward, it becomes a little uncomfortable. You know?
For sure, yeah.
So it's definitely something I had to get over, because cranking out regularly with your face or your voice, like for me, it's a lot more my voice, but it's still like a little bit awkward. And sometimes it feels weird giving people advice.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But you got used to it.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but with my ego or lack thereof sometimes, or lack of confidence or too much confidence, sometimes it feels weird telling people you should be like this or do like this or da-da-da.
Yeah.
Because you're giving advice on passive income. And you're doing a great job with it. But I'm sure at some point you're just like, you know, it's kind of awkward.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. So, you know, you said like kind of your journey of when you were building up everything, like you were saying the corporate world rejected me, right? And all that stuff. But like, I still wanted to make this happen. Were there any feelings of like fear when you were building this up of, oh my God, what if this doesn't work?
Yes, I still have that every day.
Still?
Every day. By most accounts, I'd be considered a fairly successful person at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether it's with the income or the subscribers or how I live my life, the hours. But still, if you struggled, I don't think that goes away.
I mean, what are you scared of now? I mean, yeah, to me, it's
God,
like, you're so successful.
Right. Knock on wood. I mean, you would jinx me. But you're right. There's not that much. This sounds, I'm afraid to say it, but it's true. What could happen? You know, because like the YouTube channel goes away, the website goes away. These are stuff where it would take, for me, for my business to start doing bad, it would be a very gradual thing. We would see it coming. Like there'd be a decline in my audience. It wouldn't just be like, boom, everything just stops one day.
I don't think it'll happen to you because, I mean, like people know your brand. That's some people's issues is like they're not building that branding. Even if everything went away, they know you. You know what I mean?
I know. I could wear the hat and start another thing. I know. I get it. It's totally illogical, but I still kind of push it and I still kind of invest my money conservatively, whether it's the stocks or real estate. I still kind of put it places.
No, I get it though.
I don't. It's weird. Like if I go to Starbucks, I'll still be like, oh, here it's $5. The other place it's $4, you know? And I know logically that shouldn't factor into my mind. Like if I want to get a nice watch, I could probably do it, you know, without any issue.
Dude, that's just being smart.
It's funny. In a weird way, that fear has driven me. It's like, you know, you just keep going, keep going, keep going. And not to get in a whole nother separate issue, but I think you'll find the more successful you'll get, the more responsibilities you develop to take care of people around you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's awesome.
I mean, you hear it all the time with these pro athletes. They get a big signing day and then all of a sudden, so we're no different.
You're saying like you're taking care of your family and all that stuff, and that's what you're thinking of all the time kind of thing? Or
yeah, I mean, it just more people become dependent on you.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
I mean, now we're talking about what happens when you start to get some money and everything's passive. People see you sitting around, they see you can afford stuff. So when you go to help a local kid's soccer team, for example, and they don't have any money and they can't afford a new jersey, where do all the eyes go? And also they don't even have to ask you, your own heart. You're just like, you're sitting here, you're working with a kid, you're teaching them to kick a ball, and you're like, all right, I could get them a new shirt. You know, everybody gets a new shirt. All the kids go, yay. I mean, of course you feel, so that stuff builds up. That's
nice that, you know, some people are still selfish and thinking of themselves, but it's nice that you're kind of trying to give back and stuff like that. It's good.
Right. And very often giving back isn't like this big thing of starting a massive foundation. It's just seeing little things where you could help, like that kid's soccer soccer team, maybe getting your mother a trip or helping your sister with a credit card bill or something. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to sound like a nice guy. I'm just saying this stuff kind of starts to add up, and all of a sudden you morph into this role, whether you realize it or not, and you realize what you built, a lot of people rely on it, so it can't go away.
No, that makes sense.
So then there comes that fear. You're just like, oh man.
Yeah. So, I mean, leading into like your goals and stuff. So what are your future goals? Like, are you looking to expand PrepAgent even more now that you're so successful and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we want to expand it even more and just keep going. Because this goes along with, like, we could start something new, and I probably could. And I've thought of just branding like myself as an individual and things like that. But really, we just want to keep this going even more, point where it's just more of the same. And that's a beautiful thing too. Like, people ask me, what would my ideal life be?
You living it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Right as I'm looking at you, over your shoulder, there's a beautiful beach. You know, it's a nice thing.
That's nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude. I mean, speaking of which, where are you now? I know we talked about it, but like maybe for the viewers out there.
You see?
It's kind of hard to see right now, the white. It's like all sunlight, but I can tell that it looks nice.
Right now I'm at my beach apartment in Central America.
Awesome.
I have a beach house.
That's so nice. Do you feel like because like most of your audience is in the US, right? So
I go to the US. I'm just happen to be at the beach place right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, you're mainly at this, this beach place, right? So it's like, do you find it difficult, like, to manage your business remotely? Do you feel like, no? Okay.
As long as I got good Wi-Fi, which you saw when we started this call, because sometimes it can be an issue. But, no, whether I'm in New York or California.
It doesn't matter, right? Okay. No. And like growing the business, like you don't feel like you need to be in the US to do it.
No.
That's the
In fact, it was counterproductive, because we thought about going to conferences and whatnot. The amount of time I spent with people in front of me, like the amount I could have gotten done at my computer is like tenfold. By the time I end up driving to them and seeing them, and this is an argument for a lot of people working remotely, by the time I end up driving to the location, parking the car, getting something to eat, which you always do, because after you're done driving, you want to get something, talking to them, talking about nonsense for like 10 minutes. I mean, just save that stuff for social reasons, seeing friends, dating, going to see family, whatever it is you want to do. I just feel like seeing people in person for business is kind of like,
interesting. I mean, actually for me, like, I feel like with networking, it has helped me a lot. I mean, going to conferences has helped, but I think that the purpose is different for you, because it's like you can do things at scale when it comes to helping your audience, right? I think for me, it's like having the network of like-minded people has been really nice, like getting that in-person talks with them to like develop that relationship. But then at the same time, if you're trying to help people, you can do it way more at scale when you're like doing it online, right? That's kind of your point, right?
That's my point. Yeah. Like every once in a while, you're right. Networking does have its place, but I'm limited with it, especially if that's not your thing. If you become like a digital nomad and you become a custom worker remotely, it's kind of awkward doing the whole like, meet and greet, exchange business cards, walk around the room. I mean, some people are super good at talking to people and politely moving on from conversation to conversation without cutting people off. I mean, that's kind of a skill unto itself.
Makes sense. So what is some advice you have for people, who want to like create their business remotely, or even not remotely, like even if they're at home, like if they want to start something new, quit their job? What's your advice for that?
Well, I'm not going to tell people quit their job. I don't even know their idea. Their idea may be terrible,
Well, that's part of your advice then. Maybe like you need to gauge if your idea is good.
No, I would tell people pursue it 100%. Obviously, they need income, but be consistent with it. Basically what we talked about before, just be super consistent and just keep going. You're going to see it evolve. You're going to see it get better, and you're going to be shocked how many people will follow you if you're consistent with everything. If you have an idea and you have a message and you just stay with it. I was talking to a lady who's selling cat litter box, like a new form of a cat litter box, and she's doing well, but she had a goal. She was going to talk about certain issues related to cats, and people started following her. And you may think there's a million cat videos, and there's a ton of them out there, but you have to realize you don't need a million people seeing you to be successful. And you think about 1,000 subscribers, isn't that hard to get? And half of those people bought her cat stuff. She's good for like, a long time.
Yeah.
And if she's consistent with it, it'll build. In other words, don't think you have to like take on the world to kind of be successful.
Yeah, because I've met people who maybe they have like 10,000 subscribers, but they're already making a full-time income on YouTube because of the way they're like monetizing it. So it's like very true.
Right.
You
And it's
don't
just a
need,
matter of
yeah,
being consistent and figuring it out.
yeah, definitely.
Like I gave the example of the mic when I spoke to you. It's just by keep doing these interviews over and over and over again, I stumbled across you and was, oh, Mike, okay, yeah. And then I saw you had experience with music. I was, oh, she knows what she's talking about. I'll ask her. And then sure enough, you said, I was like, oh, okay, let's go. You know?
Awesome. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, I'm sure people are interested in learning more about you. Where can people find you?
YouTube. I'm PrepAgent. Just look up PrepAgent and look for the guy in the hat. If you look up real estate exam prep, you'll find me.
So yeah, it was great speaking with you. I feel like you gave so many great insights and so many tips. I did ask at the end, like, what's some advice, but like you were giving advice the entire way. So thank you for that. I feel like I learned a lot from this interview, and thanks for being on the show, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you're definitely a special person to follow. So I hope everybody listens to you.
Hope so too.
You got that energy. No, you got good stuff to offer and you do everything right. You're consistent. You're awesome. You got all the stuff together. You got a good message. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
And I'm not saying that now. You know, I said that to you when we first met too.
You did. I really appreciate that. That's very touching. So thank you so much.